Hello, friends.
How we doing?
How's everybody doing
Doing
tonight?
good.
You
Apologize
doing
to
all right?
everybody. I'm why everybody's late, so
That
apologies.
that's okay. Little video difficulty there initially, huh, Houston?
Man, I got right in, and then when I came back, it was going crazy. I had to restart it, and
Yeah.
turn off the internet.
Seems
I'm
to be
back
doing
in.
good now. Doing good now, buddy.
Everybody
All
knows that's how
right.
you fix these electronic computer problems. You turn it off
That's
and
Well,
right.
turn it back
I
on.
did drop
Restart
it
it. Restart.
once.
What was that,
Yeah,
Houston?
restart.
I said I did drop it once,
Oh,
so
you
I
did
think
drop
that's
it.
what helped. The old days, you smacked on the
Yeah.
TV to get it to
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah, like Fred Sanford used to do.
Yeah, you got to rattle it a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
going.
Awesome. Hey, how you guys been?
Man, better
I've
than
been
I
doing great. I
deserve.
don't know about Houston. How are you, Houston?
Like I said, better than I deserve, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's
I'm
old
Me
excited
David.
too,
about
too.
tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Awesome. Me too. Me too. It's good to see y'all.
All three of us
Y'all
back
too.
on here again. Looks like the chat's full. I see quite a few regular
Yeah.
names. We appreciate you guys. Um, and I know Bob comes on our chats a lot, and he's a regular. But when I thought about a guest for tonight, I couldn't think of anybody better than getting Bob in here, man. He's been
Amen. Good
such a
deal.
supporter. He's been such a supporter to Hillbilly Hives Live, and Lee too, of course. So hopefully we got something else worked up in the
Yeah.
future on the rest
Yeah.
of that. But
Hoping to
Bob is
get Lee
We
for
do.
next week.
right. So, but we're excited to get him on here. I know, he talks a lot, and everybody don't really know, but he's got a store. He does a lot of different stuff, man, and he helps a lot of people. Bob does, and he
Amen.
always shares my videos. I don't even have enough subscribers to share anybody's videos.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you've
Yeah,
ever mailed anything or not, but it's quite expensive to mail stuff. And I don't know if you've ever made one of these or not. I ain't. But
no,
I did not. I did not pay for this. I did not ask for this. This was just Bob. The first thing that he made was this, and he sent it to me. I mean, come on, y'all. It
right,
cost him a fortune. At least 10, 15 bucks
right.
just to
It's
mail this
time.
thing.
Yeah,
And the time, look, and the whole time he was doing this, he was thinking about Earl. And that means when he's
that's
doing
right.
something for you, he's thinking about you. And boys, that's a heart right there, man. And that's what's got Bob where Bob is today, man. And being awesome, him and Lee Show doing good and everything, because he is a very generous person, a great big heart, and a loving guy. He comes across
And
as
we
rough,
didn't.
but he's just a big old burly West Virginia half-bred German. He can't help it.
I want to let everybody know too. We didn't plan out this week to bring Bob in. Actually, I just called him on the last minute this morning. He
No,
was
you
going
planned it
out of
out.
town, and and I just called him up, and asked him, and I was hoping he would. I probably went with nobody. I guess Bob would have told me no, but I'm excited to bring him in. I know, he talks and stuff, but we never actually get to ask him certain questions we'd all like to ask him, and hopefully we'll all get the chance to do that tonight.
Yeah, and when
Okay.
we're talking about Bob, y'all, we're talking about Bob Walker of Walker B Ranch and Walker B
Right,
Ranch and Kodiak Farms. Lee, he has a secret last name that nobody can say, so we call him Lee. Bob and
right,
Lee, they got the show on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a great chat show. They've had a lot of people in there, a lot of famous people. Ian Stepler, California Beekeeper, me. I'm just kidding.
No.
Houston, Johnny. We got, it's a place for everybody to go and hang out.
right,
And
right.
it's a great thing. And then you got, of course, Stream Team Wednesday night, and then us tonight. We would like to think of ourselves as kind of like the Stream Team and Bob and them kind of mixed together just a little bit. So we're trying
Right.
to
Help fill
be
the gap,
unique as we can.
Yeah, definitely heavily
Uh,
influenced by all those guys.
Yeah. So we're really looking
Right.
forward to getting Bob in here and just talking about Bob instead of what Bob's doing, what Bob is, and how Bob's doing. I can't
Right.
Yeah,
wait for
yeah,
that.
Right.
yeah.
So
Right. Because
get
he's
it
got a
highlighted a little
store and
bit.
he does a lot of stuff. So I'm looking
Yes,
forward
sir.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
man.
too.
Well,
So
what we
how's
know good.
it
Besides
going,
that, what
John?
we know good. Well, we got in the studies for tonight. Well, you got anybody bringing us anything special or unique?
I've having communicated a little bit with you guys this week, I happen to know that both of you have some really good topics to go over, and so just depends on who wants to go first. I've got a little intro for both of you guys to start off a cool segment. It's going to be some real good information for folks.
No, that's why we do it on each other's channel. It's Houston's night.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna let Earl go first tonight, though.
All right.
That backfired on me.
All right.
But that's all right,
No, I don't
because
care
Earl
to
can
go,
do
Earl.
it.
It's all
Fire it
right.
up, Johnny, baby.
Yeah, damn. Here we go.
Bang, bang.
Well, my name is Earl Dooley. Drank honey by the gallons and never back down. I love a good challenge.
I think of that every time I hear that.
I do too, man. Oh, Hank Jr.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, I got a good topic tonight. Let's talk about winter bees. Winter bees. What is a winter bee? What makes a winter bee? How is a winter bee made? And just exactly how would you get a winter bee if you wanted one? I can answer all of that tonight. I can give you the hows and the whys. There are new research and new papers out, and we know more now than we've ever known. First, the winter bee has long since been considered the long-lived winter bee in the hive, but there's more to it than that. And so the name winter bee doesn't actually fit. So we use the word diutinous, and diutinous or long-lived bee is what they're wanting to call it, because they've only, not only it happens in the wintertime, but during periods of dearth, they will produce diutinous bees because they fear that they don't know how long the dearth's going to last, so they start making them last a little longer, and they start producing a few of the long-lived diutinous bees in a dearth, which is sometimes in the summer, and therefore you don't want to be calling that bee a winter bee anymore. So we call it the diutinous bee.
One round of brood or something to do that, Earl? Is that like partial of that or what? Because that's the first I've heard of that. That's interesting.
Okay, well, you're going to love this talk then, because I'm going to answer all of those questions. What constitutes a diutinous bee from other bees? They've long since thought it was a different caste altogether. So you have the queen bee, you have the worker bee, the drone bee, and some were saying, the caste of the diutinous bee. However, the studies and findings have found that what causes a diutinous bee or long-lived bee to be a long-lived bee is high amounts of a glycoprotein, a super glycoprotein, if you will, called vitellogenin. And this
is that something we can supplement, Earl?
They're looking into it, so I'm not sure. Vitellogenin is one of the super glycoproteins that is fed in royal jelly. And that jelly contains high amounts of this super protein. And what this super protein can do is amazing. This protein, not only in the queen, it can actually take certain I don't want to say diseases, but they can take certain strains of bad things and go ahead and introduce it into the breeding of the bee, so that when that bee grows up, whatever that was, that it's kind of like an immunization, so to speak.
Okay.
It provides like an immunization process that helps the bee. Like I said, it packs these toxins into the actual makeup of the bee as it's, before it even goes into the egg. and it's already primed and ready. And I think this
That's
is one of the
genetic then.
I think it's one of the pathways that they're using for the immunization stuff that we was learning about on Dr. Umberto Cristiani's
Right, right.
in the Hive Live when he was talking about that. Well, there's two spots on the back of a bee's brain, and I like to call it eyes in the back of their head. And these two spots on the back of the bee's brain are the two places on the brain that control the amount of vitellogenin and a substance called JH, juvenile hormone. Now, as
Okay.
long as the juvenile hormone is low and the vitellogenin is high, then you have a diutinous or long-lived bee. It can't live forever. However,
Right.
if it kept on going, it could possibly live as long as a queen, so to speak, or even a drone. How they live longer. How they live longer, they have more vitellogenin and not so much of the juvenile hormone. This all changes as soon as the bee assumes an outside duty, whether it's garden or
Really?
foraging or scouting. As soon as it goes to the outside and starts to work, no matter if it's a diutinous bee or any other bee, the worker bees, they cut off the vitellogenin and the juvenile hormone process kicks in and it starts the aging process, so to
I
speak.
see.
And so when they step out, they know they've got 2 weeks to death. And jokingly, I say that's why their first duty is guard duty. You got 2 weeks to live. You're going to die, and you're starting today. Go guard the hive. I would be
Right.
mad, wouldn't you? I got 2 weeks to live.
Yeah, I
No, I
would.
won't let nobody
Let
in
me
here.
fly.
I'm gonna kill everything coming going. So, but my point is, it's just vitellogenin, and it's these two spots, the eyes in the back of the head of the brain there. If you want to get technical with it, it's called the corpus allata, and that's what the two spots are. They're controlling this vitellogenin and juvenile hormone um, balance. It's a lot more complicated than that. I'm giving you a
Do
breakdown of it, so to
do
speak.
you have any references that we can go back later, Earl, and dig into to get a little more on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you go to my channel, you will notice in my community section, I've been posting these papers. As
I
I
have.
read
Yeah,
them,
I've
I
seen those.
post them. Some of those papers are on vitellogenin and juvenile hormone and
Okay.
this whole
Okay.
process that I'm talking
Good
about.
deal.
And if they're summaries, but if you click on my link and you go up there, you can see who wrote it, and then you can go read that paper yourself in its entirety. I'm just providing
Great.
hey, this is that paper I
Right.
read. Y'all should go get it and check it out. There's a lot of good
Right.
papers on there. Also, I put a lot of videos together, not mine, other people's that are on my playlist as well. I'm trying
I
to
saw that.
provide more than just videos for everybody. I'm trying to provide a plethora of information in my community section and in my playlist as well, with good videos, good information, and the latest on honeybee research and papers. I try to stay up to date on it. My papers I've been reading here lately are, anywhere from 2007 to 2021. Uh, so, but I like to try to there's certain ones that just go with each other, and I have to read them
Right.
in that
Right.
order to make it all fit. So, but yeah, check out my community section and check out those papers. I will tell you, go ahead and get you a dictionary or have Google on standby, because unless
Right.
you're
I
highly
read a few of
educated,
those. So yeah, I
the
know what you're doing there.
vocabulary is somewhat complex, especially when they go to talking about some of their, methods of mass spectrometry. And the coolest thing I seen was images of the bee brain through a CT scan. Man, they broke it down and you
Wow.
could see the brain, and
That'd be cool.
they're layering the brain now just like they do ours, and getting better measurements of things, and just seeing that bee brain in that bee head the way it was. It's so cool, man. I'll
As
try
far
to
as I've
provide that as well.
far as I've took any of that, reading Snodgrass, and seeing the images that he done which I
Right.
guess is the standard, to kind of bee biology and all that. How he broke them up in different slides that you can overlay to the whole bees
Yeah.
back
Well, what
together.
happened was
So,
when he was doing that, he had to actually slice the brain himself and put it on a slide. And as you know,
oh, okay, so that's why
if you
I see.
move that, it can change the spatial dimensions. The CT scan does it in the bee head, and therefore they're learning accurate measurements. I mean, the work that he done was imperative. They wouldn't even know what they
Right.
was looking at without it. So now they're able to take his work and get more accurate work based on CT scans and stuff. So they're learning
That's
more and
cool,
more
man.
about the honeybee brain and biome and things that are really actually going to help us tremendously. It sounded quite complicated talking about that vitellogenin and juvenile hormone, but in that we learned that vitellogenin is a process that primes the immune system in the future honeybees, possible pathway
Right.
for immunization and a marker that we can actively monitor and verify, what it is and what it's doing. It's pretty
Right.
cool
And then
work.
it comes from the royal jelly. It's not something that we can actually
Yeah.
feed them. It's something they
Exactly.
kind of got to feed themselves. So
Man,
that's
that royal
interesting.
jelly is some good food, and if you could isolate the protein
It sure tastes
that is
nasty.
actually turning that juvenile hormone off, could you imagine eating a food that'll cut your aging hormones off? Not completely, but slow it down a lot.
That they done a study on the centurions, and that was one of their main uh, vitamins was royal jelly that they ate. So I always thought that was interesting. People who live over 100 years, you better
Oh,
pay
I believe
attention
it,
to
no
those
doubt.
guys.
Yeah.
And
Especially,
royal jelly was
especially whatever they got in common, huh?
Yeah.
right, and
So
royal jelly seemed to be in there.
your diutinous bee and your winter bees, the result is a high amount of vitellogenin, the superglycoprotein in the mandibular um, food. The hyperpharyngeal gland produces some stuff that mixes with it. It's just a super food that makes the royal jelly, and that keeps them, young and healthy. And
I wonder
as
if
soon as you go
Ian's
outside,
rocket
though,
fuel. I wonder if his rocket fuel has any help, to bring about those type beads, that high protein
absolutely, I
concentration.
believe that he does. I believe it provides the perfect food for vitellogenin, and I'll tell you why. Amino acids and amino acid makeup. These are what is necessary. The multiple amino acids. A honeybee, I get tickled to death when people says it contains real pollen. So is
Right,
it corn pollen?
right,
Because if it's
right.
corn
All
pollen, it
kinds
don't
of
matter.
pollen.
What kind of
All
pollen
kinds of
is
pollen.
it? You know,
Right.
so you have to have a mixture of pollens, sometimes even in the same cell making bee bread, to come up with the right amounts of amino acids, proteins, nutrients, trace minerals. You Google the composition, the chemical composition of a honeybee structure, and the first thing comes up is sodium, and you wonder why they like salt water. See, the more
Right.
you know.
Why they get on your skin when you're sweating, you think, oh, it's going to sting me, but they're just after salt, a
Salt
lot of
water,
times.
that's what they're made out of. You know what I mean? Salt water, the minerals, all the things that they need. This stuff. It's like he went out, got all the different pollens, mixed them all up, and this is the beautiful thing about Apis biologics. He didn't go above and beyond. He didn't go under. I want to match. If you put it all together, the exact best pollen, what? And he matched it. He didn't go above it. That's why there's not a big giant bag. It's only what it takes to provide the most simplistic yet nutritious food for the bees that they find in nature,
Right,
mimicking that
right.
pollen, mimicking that nectar as closely as possible, but not just a pollen, all of them combined, and that best amount of food at that time. You know what I'm saying? If that kind of makes sense,
Right,
it's all
right.
added together.
It does. Yeah.
And so, and that's why they done it in the pollen and the nectar. They're so different, you know, the proteins and the amino acids. And so with the ability to know for a fact, I'm giving them all they need, everything they need to make it, I can feel good about them making it. Where if I don't, then I just have to leave it up to them. Can they get enough? And I don't care who you are. If you look in your bees and you're not feeding them and supplementing them, you can notice the difference in the quality of the milk brood and the milk food. I call it the royal jelly.
Not as shiny as it. Less of it.
It might not be as white and there might not be as much of
Right.
it. And it's not the bee's fault. There's just not out there, you know. So by providing it to them and you're keeping them in that, you know, best possible scenario and best practices possible, it's hard. Not saying nothing's going to go wrong, but you're setting yourself up for a great deal of success when you're already doing everything that is possible. Those bees don't have to go traveling to 100 places to get that food. They've got it right here, even though they're always going to have that desire to do so. Yeah. So instead of all those bees inside waiting for that food to come back, oh, well, this one just didn't do. Can we go find it and then get the amount they need? While they're gone, they can just run up here and say, oh, right here it all is. And that's the secret to why I make my bee crack and that fondant that I make, which I probably will be doing away with and just using the Apis biologics myself. But at the time, using my goat's milk, the project, that was as close as I could get. But now that we have Apis biologics, that's just, but I don't know, 2 bags of that, $100, 1 bag of goat's milk, 15. I might use it for a little while longer.
Right. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Saving
but
money you
when I'm doing it with the goat's milk, I'm not giving them exactly what they're going to find in nature. I'm giving them a bunch of that, a bunch more. So it might be a bit much, but it works for me, man. It's nutrients that you're after, the amino acids and the trace minerals.
Fascinating talk, Earl. I find it so interesting how that aging process starts. And I guess that's an integral part of the hive survival. So they wouldn't get overcrowded. You have older bees, like you were saying earlier, maybe more disease and stuff if they didn't die on off after all that hard work. So it's more than just the hard work. It's actually a chemical change.
Absolutely. And keep your eyes open, because I plan on doing a video on temporal polyethism, which is time-age behaviors, and the difference in the bees inside the hive and each bee and what it does and what it can do and what it can't do and why, because that's very important to know your bees. And I feel like by studying temporal polyethism, we get intimate with our bees. You start knowing each bee one-on-one and what it's doing and why it's doing it from birth to death. And then as you understand the balance of these bees, you know better how to feed and take care of them and manipulate them to get the most of what you want out of them, if that makes any sense. And all my research is based on the college classes that I've took and the videos and studies that I've done, all through Dr. Jamie Ellis of the University of Florida.
Nutrition plays a key role in it, man. I can tell bees that are pretty much starving to death versus bees, that are nutritious and have feed.
Well, everybody freaked out, when me and my brothers grew to 6'4", and most of the people in my family are 5'1", 5'2", 5'3", 5'5". But it turns out they were that high because of nutrient deficiency. They just didn't have the food to eat.
Right, depression. There was a lot of shorter people born during that time.
It's a proven fact that starvation stunts the growth, because there's simply not enough nutrients there to do what the body needs to. However, when you provide that body with all the nutrients that it possibly can use, then you end up with 200-pound, 6'4" dude instead of a 5'5", 80-pound dude that's starving in Ireland like my ancestors.
Nutrition's key, man. I've heard that over and over. When I first started,
Yeah,
I never knew what they meant by that. But the more I
yeah.
learn, I see that.
One of my favorite books was written by a nutritionalist, and I can't think of his name right now, but it was he, he just went through all the illnesses and problems that we have today, and how simple nutrition is the answer to the majority of them. Yet people would go to a doctor and take 5, 10 pills when
Right,
all they'd have to do is just eat some different foods.
right.
That's the
Eat
same
right.
as those pills.
Right.
That's what people don't realize. Our herbs, spices, and foods, this is where all the drugs come from. So you can eat foods and not have to take medicine by uh, knowing what you're eating and why you're eating it. Same as know what you're feeding and why you're feeding it.
That's
Does
right.
that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, Earl. You are
Makes
what you
sense, Earl.
That's right. All right, that's Earl, and I'm bowing out. I'm going back to being stupid. It's your turn, Houston.
eat. All right. You ready? You ready, Houston?
I guess. That kind of pulls on what Earl was talking about, the winter bees and stuff. What I've been studying about these longer hives is not so much the horizontalness about it, but the deepness of the frames. We're used to, regular size frames, but in those, it's basically the same frame, only, it's turned deeper. So they don't do as much jumping in the wintertime, frame to frame. They stay, they got more access to more feed and stuff. I noticed the Russian guys will even run like, we stack up our Langstroth, but their main bottom box will be a super deep frame. I'm not talking about like the Layens hive or something like that, but kind of similar to that. The
Houston, did that frame
that
come out of a top bar hive or top
I'm
or
sorry,
long hive? Did that frame
the
come
one
from a long hive?
no, actually it was just this is just a Langstroth frame. This camera's not showing it real good, but it's just a regular Langstroth frame. But the hive Johnny's showing there is very similar to a Langstroth frame, only it's inverted this way. Um, with the Layens hive, it's not much different than that style. The top bar on them, I forget what they were now. I think they're like 15 inches or something. I got one here. They're 15 inches where Langstroth is 19. So that 15, it's not much difference in the top bar part of it. Like 3 inches of the frame here is not, but where it comes into play is the depth of it. So when you put that on top of it, you see how far it sticks out on both sides as far as that goes. But you got the depth of 15 and a half inches. So you put that on there, there's not much difference in the bottom of a Langstroth frame and a Layens frame. Just a couple of inches here, but you got the width, at the top where it's wider. And I think it's all in the depth of the frame that helps the winter, because the books I've read, they all tout about keeping the cluster tighter, but them having room in the frame, to move and to move up to the feed. It made sense to me, and that's really the only kind of hive I've not tried is these. I got a horizontal hive, but it's not a deep horizontal. So I'm looking forward to maybe trying some of these different deeper frames to see if I have better wintering. Just see how they compare all together.
Do you think
I mean,
that
they
is
look cool.
probably?
They got a cool factor.
Do you think that's possibly part of the reason that when you see long hives, the layings type hives always seem to do better than say these what they're calling a long Langstroth, which is just regular
I do.
Langstroth made long. They don't seem to do as good, do they, as the layings and other
Well,
hives?
I don't know, Earl. My long hive's doing really good, but it's, it's 3.5 inches thick. It's super insulated. They can spread out, but at the same time, they don't have that depth. I did add an extra 3 inches to the bottom of mine. I've not noticed them doing anything with that. I see a lot of bees clustered up under there, but not really. They don't really stay clustered under it. They use that open space, but not like I thought they would. I hope to go to a
I'm not
deeper
looking away,
hive.
by the way. I'm looking at
No,
the
that's
computer.
fine. I got some series of books because you guys know I did treatment free for 9 seasons. This is the only season I've not tried treatment free. So I got all of the books from the Smile series. I don't know if you guys can see them or not. That's the Keeping Bees with a Smile.
Yeah, I got that
only,
book, man. I read that.
there's only 2 of those in that series that are actually on beekeeping. The other 2 is Growing Vegetables with a Smile, and the other one is Growing Fruit with a Smile. And
Yep.
I recommend both of those. They're excellent books to anybody that wants to check them out. And they are on Leo Sharaskian's site.
Yeah.
I've
Man, you're
heard of
right.
that.
That book's a plethora of information, isn't it, Houston? I mean, there's so much stuff. He
Well,
covers
on the
everything.
on the one for bees, it is. Even the one for fruit trees, like if you need to know anything about fruit trees, that book is excellent.
Yeah,
It's got
I bought Keeping
tons,
Bees with a
tons.
Smile. I think my mom's got it right now, man. I recommend that to anybody that's wanting to learn. Did you notice too how he recommended in them long layings to put some holes in the corner or the center of your foundations if you use solid sheet foundations, about putting those holes in the tops or so that they can kind of go through. I noticed a
Right,
lot of times in
passage
the
hole.
long layings. Yeah, yeah. Passage holes,
This came
exactly.
out of my long hive, and they had one in it.
That's why I was
So
asking earlier. Yes, sir. That's why I wanted to know.
yeah,
I thought it was.
yeah, they had. And
I can usually
there was
tell
another one.
because of that.
There was another book that he sells that's got information on horizontal hives. Uh, and if you're going to keep horizontal hives, I believe this book would be better than the Smile book, Keeping Bees with a Smile, because um,
I don't have that one.
it's really the maintenance and just everything that's in
Do you see who it's written by?
George DeLayens.
yeah, George DeLayens of the of the Layens hive.
Hey, fellas, I
I
don't want to
gotta have
interrupt, but
that book.
our special guest has arrived. You ready to bring him on in?
Yeah. Bring Bob on in if he's here.
Bob,
You get done with that book, send it to me. Hey, Bob, what's up, brother Bob?
Sorry to keep you waiting, Bob.
Oh, no worries, guys. Hey, Houston.
Hey, wait a minute, Bob. Kaylee's on. We're gonna have to bump you back.
Okay, yeah, I know, right?
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, Stream Team, and be with the tiny alligator in Tennessee. Amen.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh, how's it going, guys?
Bob, I was going to show you that book. That's that other book I was talking about, Bob. It's Giles Furt is the name of it. Yeah. I think on the Stream Team, Brian, he showed that book and recommended it too. But it's what we was talking about the packages and shaking packages and stuff. All that's in there. So,
well, you know, a lot of people watch our streams, right? And they don't really know much about me personally. I don't think.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're gonna change that tonight.
Yeah, most people don't know I've got 3 degrees.
Working on his master's.
Working on the master's in health science. I worked at Michigan State University in the radiology department. Spent several years in pharmaceuticals. So my degrees, my associate's degree was in pharmacy science, and then my bachelor's degree was in health science, and my master's degree is going towards health science as well, and with a focus in epidemiology and statistics. So I'm a lot more. Oh, and I've got a piece of paper from the Ohio State University as far as Brian will get a kick out of that. The Ohio State University in as an authorized user of radiation. So I've got paper, right? So everybody knows that now. We can throw that out the window because it really doesn't apply too much to beekeeping, other than general. Unless you're listening to Earl's chat and all of his fancy schmancy words and chemicals.
Well, that's how
that's not me,
written.
man. That's
you gotta read
me.
it that way.
Comes in handy.
Yeah.
Comes in handy. How about it?
So so the
You should do good with that, Bob.
well, yeah. Other than my eyes can't hardly read the packaging and all the stuff anymore. So
Right.
it's
How'd you get into bees, Bob?
temporary insanity is what I always plead. It was, for years when I was in the pharmacy or pharmaceutical industry, I went to, I always lived in a subdivision that had smaller backyards. Nowadays they slam all these houses real close together in subdivisions. And I had a backyard. I could have kept probably a couple of hives and nobody probably would have even known that they were back there, but I just didn't get into it. I did more research and what I consider research was going to the tube, right? YouTube,
Right.
And watching Mr. Ed and the Dirt Rooster and Bruce's Bees and Bohemian Bees and a lot of these guys that are watching the stream now. Just watch them. Barnyard Bees, because I was in Georgia at the time and they're in Georgia. I was like, oh, well, let's watch him, and a lot of stuff. So it was really for two and a half years, I was watching videos and trying to learn, as much as I could, or, so when I got my bees, I thought I knew everything. And it turns out
I think we all been there. Yeah.
Knew nothing. Right. So, which leads me to like today, went over to Mr. Sam at South Carolina Happy Bees, right? Found him on YouTube. He lives like 3 miles from me, 3 to 4 miles from me, right?
That ended up being your mentor. How cool.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, where are you located? Well, I'm in Hopkins. Well, I'm in Hopkins, He said, well, come on over. So we drove over there and he gave me a look around. Now, a lot of the stuff I knew, right, from watching videos. Oh, well, that's larva and that's brood and, different stuff like that.
Right.
So that was always, it was interesting. But I think it was more for me, I suffer with some, and Earl, we've talked about this depression and stuff like that. I suffer with depression and some anxieties and things like that as well. So, some days it's hard to get out of bed,
Amen.
And for me, when I finally got my bees, it was like something that would take my mind off of everything else I was worried about, concentrating on, and all the stuff that really doesn't matter in life. And honestly, I wanted to try to start building something. We all start with 1, 2, maybe 5 colonies, nukes or packages, and start trying to build up from there. And I really didn't have a plan on how big I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to keep bees, and there was no real reason, right? I didn't sit there and say, well, I want to keep bees because I want to make 1,000 gallons of honey, or I want to sell bees, or any of that. That was all kind of afterthoughts after I got into it and realized, hey, I kind of like doing this, And the funny thing is that YouTube, I do a lot of live videos. I prefer to do the live videos over the video editing, right? I don't cut out when I have a slime out. I don't cut out when I have an abscond. I don't cut out when I have a swarm. Those are a lot of that stuff.
Part of it.
It can be avoided, right? You can avoid those things in a lot of cases if keeping bees. So I thought that if I was doing like live videos and stuff like that, it's more real to me. If somebody looks and I've got a swarm in a tree, and you know, like a couple weeks ago, the whole nuke fell off the ladder with the bees in it and everything. That's real stuff that's going to happen to you. You know, you're going to knock a colony over. Yeah, I could, if I was doing a video, I could have edited that out and made it look all beautiful, like I knew everything I was doing. But
it ain't all pretty hives and white suits, is it?
The fact of the matter is we don't know. We don't know everything. Even the people that are saying, you know, do this treatment, do that treatment, they're making the best educated guess they can with what they've got, right? Like
with their location too. Yeah.
Well said, Bob. Well said, Bob.
Well, when I started 3 years ago, everybody was like, "Oh, you got to vape your colonies. You got oxalic acid is the way to go. Oxalic acid, right? It was beating your head, still beating your head, kind of, about treating the bees, which is fine." So immediately I went out and bought a $500 ProVap and started, started treating my bees and doing it. But then after the fact, now they're like, well, maybe that's not always the best thing. It's not killing the mites the best. And beekeeping, you know, to stay up with everything, like you guys saw, you know, look at all the books you have sitting there, Houston. Look at all the pages and websites that you go to and you look, and YouTube channels. Everybody does it different, you know. And you know, back what Earl was saying, well, pollen, you know, if it's corn pollen, it's no good for them and this and that. Well, fact of the matter is, if people are buying your honey and you're saying, well, yeah, it's got real pollen in it, it does. It's got the pollen in the area. Hopefully it's not all corn, you know what I mean? But it's
your locale.
It's a mix of everything that's in your area, ragweed, whatever it is that they're bringing in, that helps you combat whatever allergies or whatever, you know, that you need that dosing of, I guess is the best way to say it. But yeah, so I just got into keeping bees. And if you guys have all followed me, I know that this year, but I came out of winter with 12 colonies, had never sold a nuke in my life, had never sold a queen bee in my life, you know. And this year I sold, and this is not a pat on my back. This is going to lead into the next thing I'm talking about. This is me being me, as far as, you know, I didn't
get your journey.
Yeah, I didn't get my degrees early in life. I went to the military first, and then I had a family, and I worked full time. I worked, you know, most time overtime, right? 60, 80 hours, 60 hours a week, 80 to 100 hours every 2 weeks. And then on top of that, I had my kids, but I still came home and went to college at night. And my thing was trying to lead by example and do things. So that's kind of how I even approach my YouTube. When Earl started talking about peppermint, I could have just started pimping peppermint to everybody, but no, I said, if I'm going to do it and I'm going to talk about it, then I need to do it. I need to have a video series, you know, the peppermint experience. So I started doing it. And then if it would have failed, I would have said, look, it failed for me.
Right.
You know, not to say that anything Earl was saying was wrong, but I was trying to lead by example, right? I can't show the people in my channel and tell them to do something if I'm not doing it. I can't tell people to use Apis Biologic because Ian uses it if I'm not going to buy it and do it myself. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I felt. And so, you know, for me, like with college, I felt it was, my kids were in middle school and high school when I started going to college. And for me, I couldn't have told them, hey, you need to go to college. And then they would have said, well, you didn't go to college. You're doing fine. You didn't go to college. So I was like, no, I'm going to go to college and show them that I can do this and go to college and graduate. And it's important, right? And so that's kind of how I kind of live by that now. You know, even as far as hustling, I can't work right now. I can't with my situation here. It's not that I can't. It just is even harder to do. But you know, so this year I wanted to expand my apiary, and I had to figure out, well, how are we going to do this? I don't have the money because I don't have money coming in to be able to spend. So I need to take what money I've got and be able to generate an income to further my beekeeping. Well, so I went, I had people looking for, I watched posts and stuff on Facebook, people asking, hey, does anyone have queens in the area? Nobody had queens. Call the bee supply store. They don't have queens, right? So my thought was, well, if there's a need for queens, well, I'll take some money and I'll buy queens from a breeder,
fill that gap
at a discount and sell. I'm not raping them. I'm not selling it for more than what they would have had to pay had they ordered them online, right? But I'm taking advantage of the fact that I'm putting all my money out and taking care of these bees until they get sold and making $12 a queen. So I think I bought around 120 queens this year and sold about 100 of them.
Wow.
And
That's
that was straight queen sales, right? That was just people. Now that's not a lot, but that's $1,200 in profit that I made on just queens. Now some of those queens, those other 20 that I didn't sell as a queen, well, 10 of those went into nukes that I did sell as nukes. So I sold 10 nukes that I hadn't sold before. Well, 10 nukes at $200 is $2,000. So now I've made $3,200 with the same money that I got from selling honey that I did make, right? So
got the honey on top of it too. So
yeah, so it's just been kind of a hustler's mentality. I hate the hustler's kind of a negative connotation, but it's more of an entrepreneurship of trying to figure out how can I further what I need to do with as little out of my pocket as I can. And you know, Houston, that's why I watch your channel and I see you guys building your own boxes and doing things. Not that you couldn't afford to go buy the boxes, but it's that you're saving that money.
Oh no, I can't.
right.
But you know what I'm saying? You know, maybe you couldn't buy 10 boxes, but you could buy 2 boxes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or something. And that's kind of how I've just tried to live my beekeeping life. So at one time, I counted all of my 2-framers and everything I set out. And I learned a lot through buying these 2-frame mating nukes and everything. Was it a success, this crazy success? No, I can say it wasn't. I don't have, you know, I don't have
This season.
but you got to gauge your success, right? So
look what you learned.
Yeah, I learned. And when I started those, if you go back to my videos and see when I bought them, it was already late in the year. The honey flow was
early season thing there.
Right. So if I would have started that in the spring, we'd be having a different conversation now. But I had to walk before I could run, right? I had to sell the queens and sell the nukes I had to be able to buy that equipment and grow into it. I don't
feel truly that you're out anything. I feel you've invested, you've learned. It might not have went the way you wanted it to, but look at what you can now do when you go into next year. You don't have to go buy nothing. Everything you want, whatever. The hardest thing is going to be figuring out, what am I going to do, because you have so many options. You got it going on now.
You know, this YouTube thing's been such a blessing because I've met so many people. You know, you guys, Lee, Brian, Jason from Bohemia Bees, Bruce, everybody, right? And people come by.
Right.
You know, like today, the Bugman 1966 lives in Charleston, and he was coming to Columbia, so he came by and hung out with me, and then we went to my out yard and picked up the stand and the dead out over there. I talked to the landowner and said, hey, I'm picking this up, so don't think that we're not going to have bees here next year. I'm just not putting any more bees out this fall. So we're going to take this and bring them back in the spring, and probably bigger colonies in the spring where I have to worry about them less, right? So, I mean, it's definitely a constant learning cycle. And I know on our show we joke and cut up and laugh, but you know, there is a method to my madness most of the time, you know, at least at the time. I thought, and I try to implement it. I had a young guy at the gas station the other day. He says, "Oh, you're the bee guy, right?" Well, yeah. I didn't even remember I had told him, right, that I was the bee guy. And he's like, "Hey, you told me last time you were in here." And I've been, and we got off topic a little bit about bees. And he said that he wanted to start, you know, making knives, buying a forge and making his own knives and stuff like that. And I said, "That's cool, man." He said, "Yeah, I just haven't had the money to get started." And I said, "The best advice I can give you," I said, "if I waited to have the money that I needed to start something, I would never start anything." So if it's what you want to do, just do it. The rest of it will figure itself out. Right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
And you got to jump in and do it.
And that's the same thing with the laser. I didn't know if I was going to sell the first sign, plaque, anything. You know, I'm lucky I've got Matt. Matt kind of kicks me in the butt. He's like, "Have you put any more listings up?" Well, no. You know, it's one of those things. But
hang on a second. Garfield, if you're doing it for that reason, I wouldn't do it. If you're on here to get monetized and try to make money, then you're going to have to be Fred Dunn professional. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on here to make money, not a bunch. I mean, if we make money, that's a plus and it's good and that's great. But my point is, that's not what pointed to most of us on here. I came on here to help people because I'm like, they're not doing this and that works. And I want to do so. And that's how I got into it, you know, as a way of helping people or documenting for myself, a way of looking back and having that past log and seeing how you grow. And somebody made the comment here a while back, you know, any beekeeper with 3 years experience in a YouTube channel thinks they know everything. That's not true. What we're doing here is networking. Via YouTube. I can take my experience plus Houston's, plus Bob's, plus Johnny's, plus everybody's. And now I'm not a beekeeper with X amount of knowledge or X amount of years. I have a network, a information superhighway that I'm connected to.
All right. Not only that, but how many times, and I'm going to ask this question to you guys, how many times have I just out of the blue just called you and said, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on? How you
Sometimes
doing?"
we don't talk about bees at all.
Right.
And 8 times. 8 times.
8 times?
I'm just kidding, Bob. I lost count, buddy. I lost count. It's always good to hear from you.
Well, I mean, it's like today, I had no idea Houston was going to ask me to come on the show. I thought he was just, and we talked for an hour and a half. I drove all the way to Georgia on the phone.
Amen, Jason, for Bohemia.
And, you know, as far as monetization on YouTube, I'm monetized. I'm not even going to get a payout this month. You know, so I didn't make it.
I think he was joking too, Phil. I just wanted to put that out there.
He said that. He said that tongue in cheek, but it does seem like that's kind of a common goal. And I think Earl's right. I think if you put so much emphasis in that, it take a lot of the fun away, and it might be kind of mad.
We all want
to chase
be making money on here.
Chase that dollar, you know.
You know, again, if you look back to that, if you look back at the last, not the last 2 months, but the months before that, when you watch Castle Grounds Apiary and you see I was putting out the most content, you know what I mean, for the month.
Yeah.
And I was barely making $100. And keep in mind, I have people subscribing to my channel that pay a monthly fee. You know, it's a few bucks, right? Couple, $3, $6, whatever it is. And that's fine. And I get a few super chats. But now if you take all that away, the rest of that comes from ad revenue off of YouTube. So, and most people just skip them. Like when the countdown starts.
Yeah.
When the countdown starts, if somebody's monetized, I let them play. Because when I click off of them, I still got to watch the countdown. I might as well watch the commercial and at least help that channel make a couple cents off of it. You know what I mean? And help them out a little bit. But the money does not equate to the time. The time that we spend
sure.
videos and do stuff, it's much easier for me to put my phone in my pocket and go work a swarm or a colony and not even do a content at all, you know, for me. But
I think Lee said it well. I know this was popped up a minute ago. I don't want it to pop up again. You know, a lot of us just wanted to make some friends. You know, you get on here, like-minded people that love honeybees, and
it pays you back. And I'm gonna tell you how it pays you back. So, first off, Dennis, right? One of the guys that comes on, Dennis Lentz, comes on the stream in my chat, and he lives an hour north of me. Well, his bee club needed an extractor, and I had the old one before I bought my new one, and I just gave it to him. He came down, I just gave it to him. I don't need it anymore. It's just going to sit in there, right? So
nice.
I gave it to him, and then
Earl gave me his.
Yeah, but you know what happened? 2 weeks later, he said, "Hey, man, I found out where we can get sugar syrup for $8 a bucket." And when he came back, he brought me 2 buckets.
Networking, like Earl said.
So you know, that helped out. And then today, I sold a guy a jar of honey probably a month ago. And today he posts on Facebook. He did a little live. It's like 25 seconds. And Johnny, I don't know if I can share it, if you'd let me share it.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Let me see here.
Yeah, and Bob, we'd like you to share your store, your Etsy thing you got going on, and
the
any
Etsy
other
store
things
in
you want to
the
share.
private chat. Let me see if
we want to cover it all, Bob.
Oh, you
Show
did?
us who you
All right.
are.
Hey, I can copy that over then.
Let me see if I can. I know I shared it. I shared you guys out on Facebook, but let me close this down and open this up big.
Friends around the world.
Whoop, hold on. Crap. I need to mute it so I can show it. Pause it. All right. So out of nowhere, I didn't ask this guy to do this or anything. And whoop, there went Earl. Or was it me that fell off?
No, it was Earl. He's
Right.
still on
me.
the audio.
I'll be right back.
He'll be back.
I'm here.
Cool. We can hear you, brother.
Let me find the tab here. All right.
Everybody may notice there's the link to Bob's Etsy store.
Good afternoon, Lord Richard.
Can you share this in, Johnny?
Yeah. Sure can, Bob.
I don't know if. Oh wow! I don't know if it'll let me. I don't know if it's going to show the or play the music or the sound or not. Well, we'll try. We'll try to see if it plays the sound.
Sounds good.
All right. So.
Hello, Mr. Horton.
All right. Here we go.
Good afternoon, Lord Richard and community, and my Facebook friends around the world. Hey, I just want to give my brother Bob a shout out. The brother making honey. Let's see. Let me get the name of that thing on top right there. This honey is so sweet.
That's it. That's it.
Nice.
But you know, it wasn't much. But it's the fact that he took time.
Right.
To
put your address and name and all that out there. Yeah.
And then after that, believe it or not, within like 20 minutes, I had somebody at my house bought a jar of honey. So,
right. So,
you know, I think it's one of those things that, you know, we just try to be as helpful as you can, and things hopefully come back to you. They won't always come back.
Right. It helps to draw customers in too. Just the platform.
Yeah, which is why,
you know, like
I don't want to.
Ricky.
We've got a viewer on our channel that always comes in and he says that nobody cares if he keeps bees and nobody does it. I don't want to call any names, but if you follow the channel, you probably know who it is already. And, you know, nobody helped donate to me getting bees and doing this. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what everybody else wants. What do you want? If you want bees, then we need to find a way for you to get your bees. You know, for you to make money to do whatever you want to do. If that's a matter of you, you know, for me, I've got 30 acres that people have donated for me to put bees on. I don't have enough bees to put on the land just because they came and bought honey from me.
Right,
you know?
right.
And so it's it's one of those things that I feel if you want something, you know, dry cut, I don't care if he keeps bees, but you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that if it's something you want bad enough, you'll find a way to do it.
You'll find a way to do it. Yeah.
And, you know, my dad, he and I didn't get along there, but there's a few things that he told me throughout his life that I try to stay with. You know, he always told me, I don't care what you do in life. If you're going to be a ditch digger, be the best ditch digger you can be, you know? So I kind of take that with everything. If I'm going to be a beekeeper, I'm going to try to be the best beekeeper I can be, you know? I just saw Daisy Honey pop in here, and he, you know, he's from New York. He came down. We went to lunch. We spent some time out.
That was awesome. That was awesome, Bob.
It's this Facebook thing for me is more than just doing videos. You know, for me, I learn. I ask questions in my videos. Hey, what would you guys do? You know, what should we do? And I'm open to doing those things. A lot of times people will say, hey, I would do this, and then I go do that, you know? And so I try not to act like I know everything. There's some things that obviously we're all set on, right? I mean, there's things that we do that work for us, and we're going to keep doing them. And it don't matter what anybody says, but it's definitely more than
it may not work somewhere else either, you know.
Right.
It might work good for you, but not for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, some people do treatment free, and hey, God bless them if that works for them.
Yeah, I wished I could make it work. I've not been successful so far doing that.
So yeah, it's just, you know, one of those things. You're just gonna do what we can. You know, you and I had a long discussion today, and I know Jason's got a store. We have got one beekeeping store in this area. One. And I love the store.
But it's one of the best ones that there is, though.
To a point. And when I say that, the owner is great. He knows what he's talking about. He does everything. Unfortunately, health issues set that back. You know what I mean? When I say that, I like going there. I like talking to them. But the people that work in the store are not beekeepers. They do not know. If you pull up a part and I'm like, hey, what is this? Half the time I got to tell them what that part is and what it does. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that for me, it's not a big issue. But other people, if a new beekeeper calls the store and asking a question and the people at the store can't answer the question, you're losing a sale.
Right.
You know, so
they should have beekeepers in there for sure. Somebody that knows the equipment, knows the right thing to sell.
Right now, that's one of the things that I'm trying to scratch my head against to try to figure out how to possibly start a beekeeping supply store up. And you know, and that's what we talked about.
It's a good idea, like you were saying, but it's been done, believe it or not. Did you know that Cedar Anderson and them, when they first started selling flow hives, they had that same idea. It's like, we're selling bee stuff, but what do we tell people? When people call, what do you say? So then they put in like this big training thing they've got online now where, you know, they've got all that knowledge base behind them so that when people call with questions, they're not just talking about flow hive, they're talking about bees and everything, which is, I think, was exactly what Bob is saying. So there is a need for that to go hand in hand. And when I first met you, it was about a month, I think I said, Bob, you're going to have a store one day.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Lord willing.
Did I not? Did I not say that?
Hey, you know how good Earl is at predicting the future, Bob.
Oh yeah, he can pick a winner too.
Well, just get lucky.
We just live one day at a time, man. And Lord willing, we get to see tomorrow. And you know, we're blessed with sunny days to go out and work our bees and get out there and fellowship with our other beekeepers and
yeah, man.
Day, you know. And,
is there anything any better when the temperature's right, the lighting is just right, and you're in your bees and they're not mean, and you're just enjoying it, and you're by yourself, and it's just
Well,
I wish I could share this with everybody, but you can't. You have to feel it. It's like when you have a kid, you can't tell nobody what that feels like. You got to feel it.
well, I'm going to tell you a story about yesterday, man. So I called Sam up, the South Carolina Happy Dealer. I said, Sam, I'm going to be going to get some more syrup. How you doing on it? Do you need some more? He's like, yeah, I've got about 4 buckets left. And I'm looking there, and I got 2 buckets left. I'm like, how in the world did I use more feed than you did in that amount of time, right? And I was just at any rate, we started going through a couple colonies. He stopped by. We went through a couple colonies. I said, yeah, these colonies are doing real good. As a matter of fact, I went through and put pollen, the rocket fuel pollen patties on a bunch of them. And I went to this nuke. I said, these nukes are even doing pretty good over there. And the first one looked great. The next one I opened up, I had a piece of pollen patty on it about that big, right? Just a little chunk of one of them because it was in a nuke. And that thing had so many larvae in it after one day. I'm like, there is no way in heck that all them larvae was laid in there. There was larvae in that nuke that all climbed up and got on that pollen patty, and I had no idea they were even in there. So this is how beekeepers, noticing that's a problem. Sam's like, okay, we're going to do this. Took over, man. Sam's like, okay, go get us a new box and a new bottom board and some new frames. and we emptied the whole box. We took the box down. We took each frame off and shook them in there shook them in the old box, right? Not in the new one. So the larvae and stuff wouldn't put new ones in there.
Right.
And then put got the bees on a new frame and put them in there and moved them all. Went back out there today. They're doing good. I mean, went out there today, queens walking around. I did take a frame of brood from a strong colony next to it and drop it in there with nurse bees. So they're back going, So it's like, you never know. Even when you think things are perfect, they're not perfect,
Now, change outs is not something that a lot of people do, but, it's just giving them a clean slate.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great idea.
And it worked really good. And you know what? I had some of that pollen patty where I'd thrown it out was on the top of the box next to it for whatever reason. I think it came off of my hive tool or something on the next nuke over. And it was 100 degrees outside today about. And that patty didn't dry out. It was still malleable and everything. So I would definitely say if you're making your own pollen patties, make sure you're using, I use that sucrose and the coconut oil and the flaxseed oil, and they did not dry out. And all my other colonies I looked at, man, they were going to town on that stuff. So
yeah, I like that especially well, Bob, because of the coconut oil. Coconut oil is high in palmitic acid, and as you know, palmitic acid is one of the major components of beeswax, which by name is called myricyl palmitate.
Well, the whole reason I mean flaxseed oil. I got them all.
What about that?
Hey,
How come you had that, Bob? Sorry.
I'll be right back, fellas.
Yes, sir. What'd you say, Houston? I'm sorry.
What caused you to add the flaxseed in there? And what's
Ian used it. Ian Stepler used it in his coconut oil and flaxseed oil.
Did he tout why he used the flaxseed?
He really don't say much about why he put them in there, but I think it was to help keep from drying the pollen out, because none of that pollen patty, and it didn't freeze. Or you remember?
You have to understand too, Bob. He's been working with that Apis biologic guy from New Brunswick now for over 7 years. So if he's putting something in there, he ain't just slapping it together. He has a nutritional reasoning for it, because if he just wanted to keep it soft, you could have used vegetable oil.
Yeah, I've used vegetable oil, but I'll tell you what, the biggest difference between the pollen patties that I made this time and in the past is I used that sucrose syrup. And it's super thick. I mean, it's super thick syrup. And, it's got a low moisture content in it. So there's not much evaporation going on with that stuff. And I think that was the biggest key to doing it. and that's one of the ways I've been trying to save money, like in the past, is buying the 50-pound bag of supplement or the pollen sub from Man Lake.
Now Ian's mix does both, right? Pollen and the syrup in 2 parts or something. How's that work?
So Ian's video that he used, the Apis Biologics, is he has this big commercial. It almost looks like a concrete mixer, right?
Okay.
And he pours in bags because he's got so many colonies. But I use the Make Right bucket, the clear ones that you can get at Lowe's that got the gallons of paint on them, and they're kind of see-through where you can see how much liquid's in it. And I found that if I use every 1 gallon of dry pollen sub that I put in there, makes 10 pounds of pollen patty.
Bob, can you show your Apis Biologics packets to Bruce at Bruce's Bees? He was wanting to see how it was spelled and stuff.
Yeah, so I can. I've got one here. I
have 2 videos as well on this stuff. So
the bioactivator is the one that goes in the pollen sub. This one bag will do a 50-pound bag of pollen sub.
Thank you.
And the other bag is in my kitchen because I used it today, but it's
control, ain't it? Biocontrol.
It's biocontrol. It's the same size, and that's what you mix into your syrup. And this one pack like this size makes 264 gallons or 1,000 liters. So, so right now, I'll tell you what. Matter of fact, look, I will. If you give me 2 seconds, I'll go make up a little jar and show you what it looks like.
Go. Sounds good. Hey, should we drop a link, guys? We're hour and 15 in.
Yeah,
Y'all ready?
People probably want to ask Bob some questions.
Maybe Dry Cut will come in and argue with me a little bit instead of
that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Treatment. I think I ran him off.
Come on, guys, click the link. Come on in and join us.
Yeah, come in. You have questions for Bob or whatever you want to share.
Nothing else. Let's fight about something. No, I'm joking. Come on in here. That's what you say when you're out there trucking on the sea. You say, come on in here. There he is. Come on in here, Billy the Kid.
Billy.
Where you at, Phil? If you don't get in here, start talking Irish, I'm going to start talking Irish. And you won't like my impression.
Is Phil still in the chat? Hopefully he hadn't
he's
yet.
Somewhere. He's always there. You can count on Bubba Phil.
Of course, it's what about?
Come on in here, Lee.
2:15 for him right now.
I was trying to call William earlier today, and I dialed the wrong number. I dialed I put a 4 in place of a 0 and got some old woman. Who in the hell you want? He ain't here. I'm trying to get the right number and call you, William.
Look there. See, Bob didn't have to go do that, but he did. Watch him. That's how good fella he is.
Nice.
So what I do is I took this is about a tablespoon.
What?
This is
for anybody wanting to order it, they have a website. You can get it right off the website.
So this is about a tablespoon, and what I do is I just
put him up, John.
I put water in it and just hydrate it, and then I just mix this in with when I'm making my 1-to-1, right? So
it has a milky look, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of a fluorescent green look to it too. Hey, Jason.
Milky look.
Hey, Jason.
That's kind of a fluorescent green look to it too. Hey, Jason.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Hey, Jason. Doing good.
Where's that loop coming from, Johnny?
I believe Jason brought a loop with him.
Oh, he'll fix it. Where's that loop coming from, Johnny? Hello, Jason.
I believe Jason brought a loop with him. Maybe got YouTube going in the background, maybe.
There it goes.
Awesome. And hey, Rick, I muted you, buddy, because we had a bad loop on you. So yeah, just key your mic if you don't care, buddy.
But this stuff right here,
good deal.
I'll take this out tomorrow and just mix it in with my 1-to-1. And
taste it.
Nope.
Oh yeah, come on. It probably won't taste near as bad.
Hey, if Lee and Lee can spray stuff in our mouth, come on, Lee, he has to taste
it. Y'all retarded.
Sip it.
Bill Charlie in the house.
Hey, you can't use that word nowadays, Bob. You can't say that to me.
Really?
How much do you give them, Bob?
Charlie, how
when
you
go
doing?
to feed?
Well, this amount right here, I can make 10 gallons of syrup with.
Awesome.
Okay.
So.
Wow, that right there will make 10 gallons.
Yep, I just mix this into with 10 gallons. It's like
Lee said chug it, Bob. Lee said chug it.
No, sir. This got floaties in it still. Yeah, I don't know if you see the stuff swirling around.
Just lick it.
Just lick it.
So it's a concentrate, a super concentrated.
Yeah, it comes in a powder, and I just hydrate it and then mix it in with my syrup. And
Jason, sir, from Bohemia, what is your thoughts on Apis Biologics, sir?
I'm still, the verdict's out still. I haven't tested it to the level that I'm jumping into it, but I think Bob's got something going on there. So I think I'm going to follow and see his results.
Well, you know, when I
Ian Stepler's results were tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, spring to fall.
You know, and that, to be honest with you, that's why I didn't question it. I'm like, if Ian's using it on his 2,000 colonies, it's good enough for my 30. Good to go.
Right.
I love Ian, and they probably ain't no bigger fan of Ian than me. But I do want to say, let's also remember 7 years he's been working with this guy. So he's kind of partnered in the Apis Biologics. So, and he does make videos. And I'm not saying Ian would trick us, but he could highlight things to look better to help himself.
Off of it. He doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't profit off of it.
As far as I know, he doesn't either, because I saw him. He was brown bagging it. Apparently, the guy gave him the recipe, and he was putting it together with a bunch of looked like chemical bags and little pills and stuff. He was weighing everything. It was pretty complex. It looked to me like just trying to make it.
Well, my thing is I have to convert it from grams and all that to ounces and weigh it out, right? So I found that it's about a teaspoon of this by weight to
look in the back of that packet. Does it say anywhere on it not for human consumption?
No, it doesn't.
Just about guarantee it, surely.
Lick it, eat it, drink it, sip it, taste it. Tell us what it's like.
This is what's this say?
The reason I say that is that my mentor several years back, when we talked about different types of things you could use on bees and such, and there was a product, and I don't remember what it was, but he said, flip it around, look at it. And it said at the bottom, not for human consumption. He said, but you're going to feed it to your bees. I said, you're right, but, you know, there's been tests done, and I'm sure that makes, you know, it particularly for bees and for insects. I mean, insects are not mammals, right? So certain things.
Think about it. That makes a little bit of sense, Jason.
What's that?
It makes sense. I mean, you're feeding it to the bees. It could end up in the honey, right?
Yeah, but I mean, not everything says that. Exactly. So the bees are going to do what they want to do with it. But that's what, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. I'm just saying that if it's that, that's what my mentor told me. He said, it says not for human consumption. He said, then I would consider not feeding it to my bees. But then again, there's been a lot of research on that product. I mean, and it does. Well,
I don't remember what Bruce said from Bruce's Bees too. You're looking at a product in heavy condensed form. After it's spread out, like he was talking about making the patty when he tasted it, it had spread out. It was not, you know, and it's concentrate, of course, super powerful. But after it had spread out and he tasted it, he hardly tasted it at all.
Most people won't drink a cup of bleach, but they'll put that in, 50 gallons or 100 gallons of water or feed or syrup to keep it from molting, right? So
exactly,
yeah,
that's true.
Dilute.
Yes, sir. That's what I was what I was talking about.
I took a lot of chemistry courses, but I still haven't figured this out. Has it? And one of you bright guys might know. Have you ever noticed when you make well, you guys may not. Well, I know you Southern boys make sweet tea, but when you make sweet tea, if you add the sugar before you fill it up with water, it's sweeter than if you fill it up with water before you add the sugar.
What?
You know what I'm talking about, right? You steep the tea bags in the hot water, and then you add the sugar and mix it up.
Overload.
And you add the water.
Overload. Hillbilly can't handle so much information.
That's how I always do it. I never tried it the other way, Bob.
It
I
is.
just drink y'all's sweet tea.
What's that?
You ever had y'all's sweet tea?
Y'all's? No.
I haven't had
Look it
y'all.
up. Look it up on Amazon. You can get it. It's called y'all's sweet tea.
I ain't never drank y'all's, but I've had mine.
That's right.
Out there at home.
And I'm going to tell you something else. You remember the other night on the show when I was talking about not being able to get Blythewood Bee Company to really nail down on the Hive Life conference now?
Sure.
Yeah, why is Jason going for them?
Well, no, the next day I got a call from horizontalbees.com.
Not you, Jason, a different one.
And Ricky Rourke said, "Hey, Bob, if that doesn't work out, just let me know. I'll go ahead and get your ticket. You can sit in our booth with us."
Oh, fantastic.
So
fantastic. Awesome, Ricky, man. That's awesome.
That's good.
And
You
that
see
goes-
what I'm saying? That's YouTube, baby. That's friendship. You catch me the other night, I'm on my knees praying for some dude I ain't never met. But I felt like I had to, and I loved him, and I was worried about him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say who, but you have affections and stuff for people. You might not ever have met them, but you care about them. I find myself caring about all y'all. I mean, I'm just getting used to you, but I can't help it. I'll worry about people I care about.
Yeah, Bob would probably end up selling about 10 of those horizontal hives for Ricky.
Hey.
Well,
Hey, Bob,
Yeah.
are they not going then? Is Blythewood not going?
well,
They will.
Scott's got kidney failure, so he's on dialysis. So the idea was I was going to be in the Swarm Commander booth and carry his pre-orders up with me and run the booth for him. But he has not. He's hard to get in contact with. And I've sent him the stuff and I've talked to him about it, but it's like once I sent him the stuff, it was like he didn't remember even having the conversation. It's kind of hard. So we'll see how it works out. I'll keep on him, but I can't wait too long or Hive Life's going to be sold out.
Yeah.
Bob, there's a lot of comments in there wanting to know what this powder stuff does. Can you
Pro DFM or Super DFM?
Can I have it?
This Apis
Can I have it?
Biologics.
Let me go. Come on, turn me loose on it.
Earl's got a good video on it.
Yeah, we'll let Earl talk about it.
Tell him about it,
Okay,
Earl.
so here's the deal. This crazy New Brunswick beekeeper guy, and they're asking themselves this question, basically, what exactly is nectar? What exactly is pollen? What exactly is in it? And what is the best of all of it together? That's the questions they had in mind. They wanted to know. So they spent years of research at Stepler Farms studying the bees with the professional commercial beekeeper, which is Ian Stepler. Also, he's like the head chairperson on the board, the head of Manitoba Beekeeping Society. So this guy is way in there, dude. When it comes to his bee knowledge, he's college educated and a very intelligent man. When it comes to farming, agriculture, and honeybees, so Ian's off the chart. So they're doing this study, and basically what they find out is what they wanted to know. That nectar is much more than just sugar water, and pollen is much more than just protein. They found the trace minerals. They found the exact amino acids, and they found all the things that they wanted to find, and they were able to put it together and then feed it to the bees and monitor them. This is all years of research and development that's already done. And we watched it. You might not have known it, but every now and then he would bring it up and say, "This is Apis biologics. I'm using it. It's not available to the public right now, but we're trying it out." And Ian coded when he started the phrase rocket fuel because of how his bees would blow up when he fed it to them. Because instead of, and I've said this for years on that stupid goat's milk fondant that I make, instead of going to hundreds of sites, they're going to one site, which is in the hive, to get everything out there combined in one possible source. Everything that they're going outside to find, you just piled it up in the hive for them in the form of pollen sub or sugar syrup. And it's been research tested and development 7 years on the APIS uh, biologics control. And I think it was 3.5 years studying after they figured that out, that they went into the pollen and confirmed it, used it. So you're talking about a combined effort that we all watched. We see it, and you can go back and watch it. It's all logged right there.
Basically, what they did is the chemists took the nectar and they broke it down into what is in nectar.
Reverse engineered it.
Yep, and then
exactly
the chemicals and some of these stuff I can't even pronounce.
They should
like a health shake for our bees, huh?
Yeah, it's got like aspartic acid, serine, glycine, histidine, theranine.
Amino acids. That's what those are.
Thyroxine, valine, isoleucine, leucine.
Leucine's one of the main honeybee amino acids.
Phenylalanine, lysine, glutamic acid, arginine. I mean, it's got a list of different things in it. So it's I don't know. They said that's stuff that's found in natural floral nectar. So when you add this to the syrup, it gives them like a super boost. So
now it's different stuff for the pollen mixture, Bob, or is that the same? That's in the pollen mixture?
There's a lot of the same stuff in it, but there's a bunch of different stuff as well. So like coenzyme profiles. It says hemicellulose.
Phenolic compounds.
It's got
they really went crazy on it, guys.
And I think they're using, like, when they say flavonoid profile, that is like a probably like, you know, the secret sauce, you know.
Yeah. You said it was around $100 for both packages.
For both packs. Right? So the activator, this one pack of activator will do a 50-pound bag of pollen sub.
Now, he's talking about shipping and all. It's like $27.95 a bag Canadian.
For the for the activator it was like $27.95 Canadian, and this was like $74 for the syrup.
But you bought the big one. They also make a $27.95 for the syrup. Bob just bought the big one.
Yeah, I bought the bigger one.
Okay.
But the
nobody sells it but Ian and those guys.
Well,
Ian doesn't sell it.
Website.
Only Apis Biologics so far. And don't try to jump in. Me and Bob are already trying to get distributorship in the United States. We done talking to them. You notice I done 2 videos, and I asked for permission to put them on there. I got permission, and they loved it when I did it. So, but this
permission? I don't ask for no permission. I just hashtag and give it to them.
I did. I always make sure, guys. I don't want to let y'all down. I'm gonna make sure I do my homework.
All right, I dropped the link in the private chat for the website if you didn't have it already. For the
once again, come on in here.
But it's in, you know, it's all in Canadian dollars, but I found with shipping and everything, it came out to about what it said originally in US dollars, right?
You have to make a little sense out of it. He pays his people $15 an hour, but the US equivalent would be like $12 an hour.
I imagine they're all natural. It doesn't say all natural on it. I don't know.
Oh, I saw him open a pill. He done some chemical. I saw it.
Yeah, I saw him breaking pills open and capsules, putting them in. But
it could have been organic.
Could have been a vitamin. Yeah, it could have been vitamins or something.
So, I mean, all I know is Ian's got, 2,500 hives. He's been doing this for a long time. He feeds his family off of it, and if he's
they sleep 5 months out of the year in a building off of it.
So my biggest concern was actually with the pollen patties, and it wasn't the Apis biologic. It was just pollen patties in general down here because of hive beetles. They love them.
And then you met peppermint.
Now the one that had all the larvae, Bob? Was that one you already had mixed up with the apis, or
Yeah, it was one of
no?
the new ones I just mixed up with the apis biologics. But again, it
Right.
wasn't even in there 24 hours and it was loaded. So that means it wasn't new larva. It was larva already in there that
Right.
they loved it too. They just crawled all up and crawled in it. And that was the only hive that I had that in it. Or where
For the
they,
peppermint conversion, let me tell everybody the peppermint conversion. We know that one Starlight candy is 10 parts per million of peppermint oil in it, and one of the soft kind of the candies can have up to 50 parts per million in it. If you're going to make it from peppermint oil from scratch, you have 1 ounce of solution. That's whatever you're going to feed. Then 1 drop in 1 ounce is 20 parts per million. 1 drop of peppermint oil in 1 ounce of whatever gives you the equivalent of 20 parts per million.
but I mean, it really, I'm going on blind faith, right?
What's the difference between the activator and the control again, Bob?
Well,
Pollen and syrup.
the activator goes in pollen sub, and it looks different too, guys. Let me break the bag open here.
I'm sorry, my ADHD won't allow me to remain
Is
shut
that
up.
is that a
even though you
powder,
addressed
Bob?
Bob.
Yeah, it's a powder, so you might have to blow me up on the screen, Johnny, to see it.
Sure.
That'll be a video.
But that's the
Okay.
activator.
Chicken peel.
Looks a lot like
And-
pollen stuff, huh?
It's like powdered milk.
And
Both of them look very similar.
see if we can get a side by side. You see, this one's a little bit got some darker stuff in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is a little bit different. And I don't know if that's the concentration or what. I really can't speak to it, but it's
There's something wrong with my eyes. I can't tell them apart.
But
Well,
the
this
one on
one's
the one on the
lighter.
right looks a little darker.
so
you
it's,
have to use a scale, Bob, to mix that, or a scoop, or
I
how
did
are
the
you?
first time. I did the first time. I did it just because I had to do the math calculation, right? So I had to figure out how many liters, like how many gallons were to 1,000 liters, right? Then I had to figure out how many gallons I was making, and then I had to figure out how much of this went into that, right? So I found out
Right.
easy math
We don't know Keith Faithful. He won't taste it.
is about what it takes on the biocontrol. And with this, to be honest with you, I didn't weigh it out because this makes 50 pounds of pollen sub. I don't have anything to mix 50 pounds of pollen sub together. And my pollen sub had already had some out of it, right? So
And
I
didn't you say, Bob, that when you ordered your pollen, it doesn't come in 50 pounds, does it? It's 40 pounds?
yeah, so I just basically coated the top of my pollen sub and then made my pollen patties. And you know, they're eating it. No, I'm not taste testing this either, guys. It
Come
doesn't-
on, Bob.
Doesn't even smell good to me.
So the control is for syrup, right? Is that what you said?
The control goes in your 1-to-1. Yep.
Okay.
And the control, if you're getting the big one, which you've got a lot of colonies, you'll probably get the big one is like 74 Canadian dollars. So, but it does 1,000. It does 1,000 liters, Jason.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
264 gallons for one pack. So, and
Goes a long way then.
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
because I'm getting the syrup the way I'm getting it, as cheap as I'm getting it.
I bet
The
that makes it easy to mix, don't it? Just pop that lid and dump
The
it in.
difference between the cost of the sugar from the store and that it makes this more cost effective. It makes more sense to me to buy it and put it in, right? Because I'm not spending $15 on sugar and then $75 on this to use it. So
Now, how long does it last before it maybe ferments or you
Syrup?
start seeing something in the syrup? Yeah. That
how
you're
long have I had
mixing
that syrup, guys? There's nothing. The
No, I'm
last-
talking about the pro mix adding into it. That changes the shelf
I don't
life.
know. I mean, I put it in my open feeder, and it's gone. So it's like it doesn't even stay in the open feeder long enough to
Man, I bet that felt good too, watching that feeder get empty, and you're just like, I know now all those vitamins and nutrients and amino acids are in my bees. I mean, that had to feel good.
Well, you can see it's got some floating in the bottom there where it didn't mix up real good right now. But I also did start putting my frame feeders in and putting some feed directly on them, just to try to get it going, a little bit faster.
Like weaker colonies, boosting weaker ones.
No, I actually put them in my stronger colonies too, to hopefully satisfy any potential for robbing of the weaker colonies. Look at Charlie sleeping on the job. Oh my gosh!
I'm listening.
He was just resting his eyes there.
I was going to say, make him bigger, make him
Hey,
bigger.
Charlie, don't get mad at me. I put you on solo layout there while you were meditating, buddy.
Jason,
Yeah, next time he falls asleep, make him real big. Let's watch him.
Jason, how do we get to your beekeeping store? You got a store, right? That you sell beekeeping.
Yeah, just type Bohemia Bees.
Just bohemiabees.com.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
what led you to opening a store? I mean, how did you get on that?
Convenience was the main thing, because I had people coming to me asking where to get equipment, and naturally the big box stores, as you guys all know, sort of kind of combined and merged a lot of that, and people were just getting frustrated with certain vendors and
Don't tell him too much. You ain't been a guest yet.
There's not a lot of stores where people can go and get like good tested equipment. And then to be able to sell my honey, because I sell my honey and beeswax candles and such. I sell that all over the U.S. via the store.
Hey, Jason.
Cool. I didn't know you had the website. So thank you.
Would you like to be a future guest on Hillbilly Hives with us one Thursday night, brother?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I think Lee's coming on next time with Johnny. But
Lee's
I
next
can
week.
probably get you in Thursday with me.
The following Thursday?
What day is that? What
Let's
day?
see, that'd be the
Just,
that would be
something to think
that'd be the
about. You don't have to
15th.
answer now.
That'd be August the 15th, right?
I'll be in Chicago until the 14th, so as long as I don't have any issues getting back, I don't see why the 15th wouldn't work.
Oh, sweet.
Cool beans, brother. I'll be looking forward to
You just
that.
got to remind me, though. You just got to remind me. Charlie,
Okay.
remind me next Friday.
That'll be.
Yeah, I was thinking that as you was telling them about your story, I'm like, we need to get you on here and accent you like we're doing Bob tonight, and let people get to know you. Just like a lot of people found out things about Bob they didn't know tonight. I guarantee you they did, like how
I
educated
didn't
he
know
really
he had
is.
3 degrees or 5 degrees or 12. What did you have? I was like, check that out.
I got 3 degrees and a certificate from Ohio State.
I was like,
So-
Bob is educated. Holy mac.
That's right.
Yeah. That's why that's why I always give people that like Dr. Leo.
Not only that, he knows stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
B-man says I don't let anybody talk, man. So I got to be
Well,
quiet.
I didn't go to college. I just read books. Well, I did go to college.
Earl, you got
Bob's
the
a
degree of
special
life,
guest
man.
tonight, so
You got the degree called life.
Look at that.
Do
Dirt
what?
Richard. Dang, it's a whole short bus full of guys on here tonight. Stop
That's
it.
right, man. Hey, you ain't seen so many window lickers in all your life, brother. Join in.
Yeah, we got 2 more slots. Randy, come on in, buddy.
Oh, you got to pin the
It's the
post.
Bee Sausage Party.
Yeah,
Randy, come on.
I've been pinning it. I'll pin it again. Oh, pin it. Yeah, see,
Tell
Houston
him,
have to do
say
that.
now, it takes one to know one,
yeah, I
Randy.
can't do it on my phone, guys. I apologize.
It takes one to know one, Randy. You just like us.
Yeah. But see, y'all don't have the call of the dirt rooster on the soundboard like Lee does, where the rooster crows every
Hey,
time.
oh, see there, we got it built in the house, man.
I am a sound box. What other noises do you want?
Well, I mean, so when you
Most
start,
farm animals and a few creatures of the woods, I can copy them.
and for if y'all don't know, this is as much as Spanky talks on a live stream. He comes on a live stream so we can see him.
Yes,
He's
Spanky's
strictly
awesome.
here
He's
for
a
the
man.
pretty
He's a man of
factor.
few words. We're going to get him on as special guest though here pretty soon, and then and he's going to be talking a lot.
I don't believe it. I'll watch it, but I don't
What it
believe it.
is that young man right there is an avid listener and thinker. He's recording all of us and thinking and putting it in his memoirs. He's stealing from us with his mind. I know what he's doing.
Well, he's not getting much from me, but he may be getting a lot from y'all.
He got
That's what my Uncle Bill told me. He said, son, if you're going to steal with your mind. He said, that way when you steal it, they can't take it back.
Hey, Phil, I'm down to know what the weather is in Northern Ireland tonight, buddy.
Weather's been pretty good.
What kind of temperature range we got going on?
Need a weather report.
We'll have to do the weather report.
All right, I'll get you pulled up here.
Right.
The Northern Ireland.
You all ready for it?
47.
That's
a little
Celsius
chilly
or
tonight.
Fahrenheit.
What's those highs?
That's Fahrenheit, I'm afraid.
Oy vey.
Highs are 60s, 65.
Not bad.
It does stay kind of constant, don't it? I mean, it don't move much.
Hey, look who we got in the house.
No,
Frank,
don't move
Frank,
much. No.
Galloway Lights.
Frank, how you doing, sir?
Frank,
Doing
Oh,
good.
look at that. Hey, I love that.
There it is.
Look,
not less, but more.
And he's
I like
using
that,
real
Spanky.
Wi-Fi for you guys' stream.
Check out.
What was that, Bob?
Wow.
So you guys are special. He's using real Wi-Fi for you guys. For us, he just like is on the phone and might or might not get a reception. And
Freezes
Bob,
up.
do you do
man.
your live with a
And for
cord?
those,
do I do my
What
live
was
with what?
With a cord?
I need to. When I go live on my phone, man, it's all. Samsung was supposed to have a good
it's a
Wi-Fi.
G cord, Frank. It's a G cord.
G cord.
Yeah, Bob's out there busting it about every night, man, every day and every night. I don't know if anybody works as hard as you, Bob.
No, I'm sure there's plenty of people.
I
that
know
work
I don't.
harder than me. That's the whole problem. They work smarter than I do. I have to work harder to get to the same result.
Yeah.
I should take a screenshot. This looks like the Red
Brady
Bull
Bunch.
Hillbilly Brady Bunch.
That's right.
Redneck Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Charlie, do
You remember
have a
that little
store or
blonde girl
anything, Charlie?
with pigtails?
Yeah.
But you can have a bullet tumbler handy. Then you have,
I'm just saying, I think Frank's in her spot.
oh my god.
Yeah.
These
At
are
Charlie,
least
you
I
run a
got the
store?
dad spot.
Now you got Jose on here.
there's Jose.
Johnny's in the mommy spot.
Jose's
Yeah.
going to be a temporary hillbilly when he goes down to Tennessee.
Hey, do you guys need someone to jump off here to let some of these other guys in?
No, we can actually get one
can
more,
all 10.
Jason. Matter of fact, it'd be awesome. I don't think we've ever had 10. If we could talk somebody else
Break
into
the
coming in.
record.
Yeah.
We
Just
got to bring
one
the
more. Break the
punishment
record.
window up.
That's right. You get in here, Jose.
Hey, here come. Hey, this be a great number 10 right here. All right, give me the rooster.
Oh, Randy beat him.
Man, I
Randy
thought
beat him.
Jose was coming. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I had to set up a light. I wanted everybody to see my shirt just in case anybody took that comment serious.
No, we didn't do that. Hey, good,
I like that shirt, Mr. Rooster.
Will that be available at the Hive Life conference in your booth?
No, I found this at a big and tall store somewhere.
There you go.
Cool.
I think we're the first to do 10. I don't think anybody's ever had 10 on before, have we?
The real question
I know
is,
we
what
haven't.
drive-thru are you in?
Say it again.
What drive-thru are you in tonight? That's the question.
I'm in everybody's driveways collecting rent. I ain't in no drive-through.
You have a cutout tonight, Randy?
Not tomorrow.
Oh, hey, look at that insignia there.
Make me big, brother. Make me big.
All right. Got some people. Here we go.
Look at that.
That's right. Man, I'm
Randy,
gonna
are
tell
you
you what.
using the Apis biologic like these other guys are?
No,
You trying it yet?
I'm not using it. I don't need it. My bees do so good down here on our southern flow that stuff will just hold them back.
They get the good natural stuff.
Well,
that's a nice patch, Earl.
I had somebody come over today, and he said, "Man, I'm surprised you guys don't have crepe myrtles blooming over here." You don't have any. It's all just green. There's no
It
no
done
color.
went by.
There's nothing.
Look at all them stickers.
Your bees work crepe myrtles, Bob?
Look at all them stickers.
What'd you say?
Bob, you said your bees work crepe myrtles?
Well, he said his dude down in Charleston, but I don't have any
white
near
ones.
me. So.
Ours
They'll
do
work
down
the
here.
white ones.
How about you, Charlie? And you're near me. They work in crepe myrtles near you? I've never seen them work my crepe myrtles at all.
Not a
you
red
wait?
one.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it even looks like, to be quite honest with you.
It's
Yeah.
those trees the pinkish red sort of bunches of flowers that bloom right about now.
Well, we get white ones
The
and
leaves
red
are
ones,
brownish
and pink
red,
ones.
right?
I don't
Yeah.
think it's funny, but for years I thought that was creepy myrtle.
Creepy myrtle.
Creepy myrtle.
Myrtle.
Helped you
Right.
know how to spell it, did it?
Crepe myrtle, creepy myrtle.
You try it, honey, dirt rooster?
Not yet. I got a few packages. I want to do a mail time video and open everybody's at one time.
Awesome.
Very good.
So I hadn't.
Yeah,
I
it's been a
hadn't,
while since you've done one of those.
Yeah, it has. So I got a bunch of stuff I need to catch up on and give everybody a shout out all at one time.
Well, you know, on this channel here, you're the boss.
No, not me.
Ain't he, fellas?
Not me.
You're
I'm just
the
a
boss
grunt.
here.
I'm
He's-
just a
he's-
grunt.
He's the big guy, man. He's
Johnny's
the
the
big guy.
boss.
Yeah, man, you're the boss, brother.
Johnny's the boss.
Well, Elizabeth is probably the true boss.
Yeah, that's right.
I told her to put a package together for you. I said, she said, what do you want me to put in? I said, everything we got. I don't care. Just put something in it.
Everything we got.
So I don't even know what she said.
All kinds of awesome stuff. I ain't done the show yet or bragged on it, but I will. I
First
put
edition
one of them on my
dirt
beehive.
rooster.
That way, every time I do a video, it'll be right there on my beehive. See, now you're gonna be in all my videos.
Oh man, look at that.
My wife can't
I
stop
put it-
talking about the dirt rooster tissue paper you put in the packaging you sent me. I said, you got to be kidding me. And she's like, there's no way that Randy did that. And I said, that's all Elizabeth. That's all her. No way. The dirt rooster tissue paper.
I have
Yeah,
some
see.
Obama tissue paper.
She has an
That's
idea
toilet
and runs
paper.
it by me, and I said,
Or
do
toilet
it.
paper.
Hey, Randy.
Randy with the
There's,
installation backing.
Hey, we're having a hard time hearing you, Frank.
No, that's
Oh.
Spanky.
No, that was Galloway too.
But yeah. What'd you say, Spank?
I was going to ask Randy how his daddy's doing.
He's doing all
Frank
right.
said-
I just left his house. He's been out on his mower. I've had to pull him out once today, and my wife and my mom pulled him out yesterday. He keeps going, getting it stuck,
Ah,
and
Who
then can't
was
walk
that?
back to the house.
is it Randy's dad?
Oh, okay.
How's
How's
his
Pete doing?
how's his long hive doing, Randy?
His longhouse doing real good.
Good.
Yeah, he's
Well,
got.
How's old
I
Pete?
packed him something in there in that package. I packed him something in there too.
Oh, nice. He'll
Yeah.
be glad to see that. Yeah, Pete's at the hospital in New Orleans tonight. His wife is having a brain tumor removed.
Oh God.
Oh Lord,
Oh,
prayers,
man.
prayers.
Prayers for her, man.
I talked to him a while ago. She had been back for 8.5 hours, and he hadn't heard a report yet. So I don't know.
Man,
Imagine that's a pretty long surgery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's behind her left ear, so it was going to be a digging around, and she was going to lose her hearing in that ear from it.
Oh Lord.
Oh wow.
man, I hate to hear that.
On the positive side, a buddy of mine had that done, and they took part of his brain out, and he used to come to work and joke all the time about, I had a tumor and they took part of my brain out. I have half of mine. Tell y'all what I think about that too.
See, had a good sense of humor still.
That was a
My,
short
my
buddy.
point is they're successful a lot with that. It's not as complex as it used to be, and we pray God that she makes it through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So they're supposed to be in the hospital for like 8 or 9 days, and then she's going to be laid up for 2 months.
You need me to come down there and help you since you ain't got no pay?
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome videos.
I have to have a place to put you up.
He'd freak out if I showed up, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I'm going to
Probably
Jackson.
scare the kids.
I'm going to Jackson, Mississippi tomorrow to remove one. You'd like it over there. Their infrastructure's failing, so they ain't got no running water. And the
Yeah.
I could
carjacking.
listen to that Johnny Cash song all the way down there. I'm like, I'm going to Jackson.
And the carjackings are at an all-time high.
Oh wow.
Oh, they don't want my junk. They might steal the one I put that dirt rooster sticker on. No, that's the only one I got worth anything.
I think
you put the dirt rooster sticker on it.
I don't know if they
Double
tried
the
to
value.
if they tried to jack me, it'd be like World War III in here.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Country boy packs, don't he?
You gotta
yeah.
be ready. Gotta be ready these days.
There's 3 of them in reach of me right now.
Well, you charge him like you did back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about that story where you chased that guy with the 2x4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, some of them places you got to go and remove bees. I can't tell as much on video, but I imagine they're a lot. I hate to use this word, but worse than what they look like.
Yeah, there's some bad spots. I was at one earlier this year that the cops had just had a shootout at the house next door. All the windows were blown out of it, and
Man.
that was right before I got there.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't want. Think I got stung by a bee and be like, oh, I got hit by a bullet.
Yeah, and then I did one last month.
Is that Frank?
Yeah, thank you.
Praise the Lord, BC.
You remember that? I put out a video just recently where I was joking around about weed and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That complex there, I did another one after that one, and somebody got shot right before I got there. And I got there right after the cops did. So the cops came over to me wanting to know if I had seen anything. And I was like, dude, you beat me here. I didn't see nothing.
Yeah, the answer's always no to that.
The cop said, you be careful. I said, I'm better armed than you are. Get on back over to your job.
Awesome.
Wow, it's great having a full house like this.
Oh, it really
It's
is,
awesome.
man. Yeah, thank
It's
you
awesome.
everybody for coming in.
Appreciate everybody for showing up, coming in here and talking with us. We all shut down at 10 o'clock, 2 hours to kind of keep everybody wanting more, and that way they don't get too much of us. But with Randy on here tonight, we'll go just as long as he wants to, because, again, he is the boss.
Well, I can't stay too long. I'm headed home now, Elizabeth. I hadn't put this out there, but I'll tell y'all, and it'll probably get out there now. But she's got thyroid cancer.
Oh, Randy.
And so she's had one surgery. They took half of it with the first surgery, and sent it off for the pathology lab to look at it, and they said it's definitely cancer. So they got to go in Tuesday and take the other half. So I hadn't been working a lot. I've been playing nurse.
Sure.
I mean, God bless you. I know what that entails. A friend of mine's wife had hers removed, and that changes people. That changes people big time.
We'll all be praying. We'll all be praying for her, Randy.
I appreciate it. She's doing real good with it and recovering well from the first one, but now they got to go in and get the other half. So,
man.
Well, just tell her that Hillbilly Earl said that even if she goes crazy, she'll still always be pretty.
That is that's her biggest concern is affecting her mental state.
Sure.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it does. There's just no way around.
Yeah, I don't see how it couldn't. So.
Yeah. So we've been through a lot. We'll keep on trucking, and Lord will walk us through it.
You're going to have to be a very patient man, I'd say.
Yeah.
A lot of emotions and stuff will be expressed for no reason whatsoever, and you'll have to figure that out.
She's had a lot of surgeries over the years, and I've been with her through all that, and nursed her and tended her through all that, and so it's just another one.
That's great, Randy.
That's what partners do, ain't it? Buddies. Well, man, I tell you, that's scary. That scares me, and I will sure keep y'all in prayers if that's all
I
right with you.
appreciate
I ain't
Yeah.
trying to proselytize nobody, even though I ain't above it.
it. I appreciate it.
But,
Well, how's everybody's bees doing now? I probably done missed all that. Y'all done talked about all that tonight.
I can't complain a bit. What about y'all? Anybody got any bad problems?
Oh, my yard's doing good too.
I've over doubled from last year at this point, so I'm
Yeah.
happy with it.
Yeah, I got.
What about
coming back
Spanky and
from-
Phil?
Yeah, Spanky, you had a colony with the queen issue about a week back. How's it doing?
I've been so busy, I haven't gotten to go into them. I was going through phone hell the other day. I got to go back into phone hell, switching over phones.
Well, maybe that colony's
Is that
strong now,
Verizon
buddy.
store? Is that what that is?
No, we switching over to Spectrum. We was hoping they'd have better service, and they don't. But the old carrier is nothing but foreign. There's no U.S. call center. It's all foreign. And they want to pull you around and not do nothing for you. And
Yeah,
they
that's
tell
what
you,
I got. So
Man, I got a Walmart burner phone. I've had that forever.
They
That's
go,
what
"Why
I'm
you
talking to
leaving?
you on
Bad
right now."
service."
I just figured out I can zoom in and see who I was in here. I didn't even know who I was talking to. On people I knew who was in here was Johnny and Earl.
Everybody else had a little picture.
We kept changing our voices. Me and Earl did.
Yeah, let me see who Bohemian Bees over here in the corner being quiet. Charlie,
It's really just me and Johnny
you
the
know
whole
everybody.
time.
Firmino. Yeah, hey, shoot.
Awesome. Cool.
I have to look at my computer. That's why I look like I'm looking off all the time. I'm looking over there. I can see everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Frank, tell us how your log hive is doing, brother.
He's muted.
I believe you're muted, Frank.
While he's muted, guys, I'm going to jump off and let Fred come in. I know he's dying. I know
All
he's
right.
dying to get in with Randy on. So
With Randy.
Randy's on here, man.
Yeah.
I'd say Brad's clawing at the
Oh
bit.
yeah, that's right.
no,
That's right. But he couldn't
Thanks,
fit
Bill.
in.
jumping at the bit to get in. It's
He's cloud
That's
chasing.
past
Come on
8
in here,
a.m. here,
Brad.
so
Good to see you,
I'm
Phil.
going to jump on.
I'd say
All the
he
best, guys.
spun them feet plumb off. He's
Thanks,
probably
Phil.
down to the bone.
See you, brother.
Hope to see you next week, Phil.
Randy, thinking of you and your wife. Hope everything goes well.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
All the best, guys.
See you,
Thank
brother.
Yep. See you, Phil.
Brother, God bless.
Hey, while we're talking about keeping people in your thoughts and prayers, Sarah's Happy Hives, her dad's in the hospital and struggling, so keep her in your prayers too. She's
Absolutely. We love Sarah.
so.
Frank,
So-
you still muted, buddy. Tell us about your log hive if you can unmute there.
Not Frank Less, but Frank Moore.
We'll take sign language if you can't.
Yeah, he's muted on his end.
Well, Phil does sign language, but we can only get 8/10 of the words. That he
Oh, hey, that's something Billy would say. That's something Billy would say, Bob.
He's only got 8 fingers, if you didn't know.
You
Right?
gotta click that unmute button.
Yeah,
you
but he
still-
can do decimals now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're muted on your end, Frank, buddy.
Is there a mute
He's
button on
panicking.
that wire?
Hit the
I-
microphone button there, Frank.
It won't let me unmute him, so he must have muted himself. There he is. No,
No.
Yeah, I heard him and then I quit hearing him.
I thought I heard him.
Yeah,
He's
he
got
said,
He's got problems like I do. It usually takes me 4 times to get in here.
That's only on our streams.
Hey, Randy, did you get any of that heavy rain and flooding and whatever down your way?
Yeah, it's been pouring for weeks. It's roads were flooded, and it didn't flood any of our property, but the roads are flooded, the river's up. It's been saturated. We couldn't cut the grass. It's just been a downpour every day. So the bees are fighting. I got a bunch of robbing problems going on because there's nothing for them to forage on. Everything's wet.
Right.
So I've been out there just dumping the weak ones and turning stuff up on the end and letting the rest of them have it.
Yeah, so
You keep pretty much natural, don't you, Randy? Just
Yeah.
natural bees.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's all Italian stock, but it's all half of it's feral colonies and the other half's Italians off of breeder queens.
And you don't do anything for mites or anything. Sorry, John.
No, that's
for
okay.
mites.
It depends. During the spring, we're doing so many splits, the brood breaks kill any mite problems. But during the rest of the year,
so brood breaks.
Yeah, the rest of the year I don't do anything for mites, and then I just keep the colony strong. And they seem to down here. I don't know if it's just because of my region, but down here they seem to not be a big problem for us. The hive beetles are a much bigger problem than the mites down here.
Do you see similar hardiness with the feral bees, or as opposed to the others?
Not once they're in a managed box, they're about the same. But when they're in a house and nobody's fooled with them, and their temperature's constant all the time, they are so strong and disease free.
Interesting.
They chose the location. You didn't, right?
Yeah, right? That's very interesting.
Yeah, they find a
location.
All
the bees, all those bees you pulled out, brother. Tell me how many of them had 2 entrances, or should I say more than 1 entrance? Of all the bees you've extracted, how many had more than 1 entrance? Yeah.
Maybe 20%, if that.
Oh,
wow.
It not many, and it's only because it's not because they chose 2 entrances. It's got be something with rot problems.
And some of those are in some heavy, thick, hot, insulated places too, ain't they? I mean, it would seem hot to us.
No, they're in places where they can control the temperature pretty well. They don't pick anything on the south facing walls or anything like that. Normally they're on the north side or northwest or northeast, somewhere the sun's not beating on them during the day. If they're on a south facing wall or a south soffit or something, it generally has a big overhanging tree or something shading during the day. So they can pretty well manage the temperatures of the colony all through the day. They don't have a big swing from, middle of the day like a managed colony would be out in the sun, where it's getting sun beating on it and it's 100 degrees outside, and then at night it cools down to 70. They don't have those big swings. So I think that's a lot of the reason they're so healthy is they don't have that, and they don't have a beekeeper poking their nose on them every 2 or 3 weeks.
Opening the front door, changing the temperature 30 degrees every time we do it.
Breaking propolis seals and spreading hive beetles around that have been crowded up and
and they got that fan blowing, that wind blowing just the way they like it. And then we say, oh, they don't need this burr comb. I'm gonna get rid of all that.
Well, that's great information. Thank you.
Yeah, in a feral colony, there's not burr comb.
Exactly. No burr comb in a feral colony. Yeah,
no burr comb. They'll cross comb. They'll have two combs with a little bit of tie together sometimes, but because there's no, there's not a frame and a box and a frame and a box, there's not a separation where they have to build cross comb down and then burr comb all across, because they're trying to build up of a foundation that's not waxed, it's all natural grown.
That's how y'all get all that pretty comb. It just fits right in them frames and stuff. A lot of them just thick as a board, ain't it?
Yeah, there's not much to burr comb off of. It's all natural drawn, so they'll cross it up a little bit, but not much.
Real deep frame, Doc. Well, we was talking about that earlier. Deep frames. I guess their combs really extra long.
Yeah, some of those combs are 4 and 5 foot long.
What's the deepest honey cell you saw?
They get pretty deep. Some of those. I don't know if y'all can see my hands. Y'all can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up in the corners, when they build up in a corner, you know what a backstrap looks like on a deer?
Yeah.
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 We call it the backstrap. When we get up in the corner and there's comb on one corner and comb on another corner that's all filled with honey, we call that the backstrap when we're cutting that out. And we're always fighting over who gets the backstrap.
Nice. That's just less wax, more honey. Spot.
It's 2.5 inches thick of just solid honey.
Wow.
So yeah, they get pretty deep.
So they prefer to draw those longer combs if they can. Then I guess, Randy, huh?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Hey, Randy, I saw you do a tree one time. It has one axis. How do you get bees out of a hole when you got one axis?
You can trap them out, or you can. We've used an auger bit and drilled to the cavity higher up, and use smoke and be quick, but
drive them out.
It takes hours, and you normally end up just killing a bunch of bees. Of course, you kill all the brood. You can't get any of the brood out or any of the honey, But running the bees out, the only way you're probably going to get them out alive is to do a trap out. And even then, it's a 50-50 shot as to whether they take to your equipment and whether the queen even comes out. You know, they might ball her before it gets to that point just because you're messing with the colony. But sometimes they'll come out, and sometimes they'll just abscond.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 2 months and nothing. They got 3 frames of bees, no queen, no eggs, but they got lots of pollen and lots of nectar.
Yeah. If you've had them trapped out for 3 months, there's nothing alive in the space anymore.
Really?
Yeah. You got a 21 day cycle on your brood. You know, after 21 days, anything that was laid that's going to emerge that even will survive because you're trapping out resources. You got nurses that got to be kept hydrated and fed and everything. And when you can't bring any more water or moisture into the colony, you're trapping all that out. Eventually, they got to leave and they got to get off of that comb. So whatever you got in that box after that length of time, that's all there is.
All right, just give it up.
Unless they're getting in another way, because trap outs are tough in that regard. That you'll set up a trap cone on something, especially buildings. You set up a trap cone, you think you got them blocked out, and you come back 2 days later, and they found another way in. You block that off, and you come back 2 days later, they found another way in.
Took me a month to get all the holes plugged up. They kept finding another spot and another spot.
Yep.
Well, if they've been still getting in all this time and you finally got them blocked out, you might still be working them. But if you've had it blocked off for more than a couple of weeks, you're done.
All right.
Oh, good information.
Count your losses at that point.
Hey, Frank, we got good audio on you now, buddy. Tell us about your log hive, how it's doing.
It's 6 frames over 6 over 6, and the top 6, they're not doing much of anything with them, and they haven't really expanded a whole lot. So I think the tree is not the best way yet, or it's just that one hive. I don't know.
Cool.
Have you noticed the turn in the comb like we was talking about before?
Yes.
If it's 13 degrees toward top and down.
I now know what you're talking about.
They had to shift it around or build a dam or something, didn't they?
They totally changed. I mean, where those frames was like that, they started building it this way. So I thought that was going to be fun to extract.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be my favorite hive to look at, but I'm starting to find out that the frames stick together and you pull out one and they all come out kind of thing.
Oh, so, yeah. I bet that would be a problem.
Yeah, so it's not my favorite now.
It sure was a really cool concept, man. It was a really great video too.
It was my favorite. Now it's not.
That offered me to do a test. I think you guys might have seen it on a couple of my videos. Everybody asked questions about the rocket hive, and that's exactly what they're doing in that hive. It is a pain in the neck to inspect. I mean, it's an interesting concept, and I've been testing it for probably 3 or 4 years now for this guy. Charlie, you'll see it next week if you're coming by.
Yeah.
It's just it's tough. I mean, it's
pretty cool looking.
It takes a lot of work.
Is that like those bottle hives? They have a bottle in a bottle.
Not like that. It's an angled hive. It's like a.
Oh, you got the rocket. Oh.
I got the rocket. I got 2 rockets.
And they're a pain to work on.
Well,
hey Frank, you remember when he said he had to be right?
Because if they're set up right, so I got the early prototypes that he sent me. And the spacing wasn't 100% where he wanted it. And he's modified it now to get the spacing right, and he's having better success with it. But the 2 I've modified one, but not the other. And I don't use the other anymore because the spacing's so off. The cross combing is just insane. Every time I open.
Tops?
Say again?
Is it on the top corners of each step?
It's a step down, all the way down. Yeah, it's a step down.
Is that the problem spot? Is the steps on the tops, or is it?
No, it's the overlap on the step right here. When they're building comb, they're connecting right here.
Oh.
All the way down. So literally, you have to take and slice every time you inspect to pull that one out.
You think it's because the bottom bar is too close?
There's no bar. It's just like think of a hexagon, the top of half a hexagon, and it's natural comb that's drawn out below it. If I was down my shop, I'd show you guys a frame what it looked like.
You got to do another video. Show me the problem.
So they're just making bridge comb.
Frank, if you want to come up and tinker with one of these, I'll let you have one. You can tinker with it.
I need more bees.
Hey, Jason, Frank's right up there in New Jersey. He ain't too far away.
Oh, you're not far. Frank, why don't you come down sometime?
I have to now that I know that you're near me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Warwick. I'm Eastern Shore, Maryland, Southern Cecil County.
Oh yeah. We passed through, but you all were closed at the time. We were on vacation once, and it was like a weekend, and I was like, "Oh man!"
He'll be down next week to pick that colony up and move the one from the tree hive over to the.
Charlie's coming by next Friday. Brian's stopping by, and a few other people. Why don't you come by if you got time?
On Friday, huh?
Yeah.
Next Friday, the 9th, around 1 o'clock.
You got Castle Hives coming in.
Yeah.
Can't beat that, guys. Makes me want to be there.
Right, Jason, horizontal hives.
Yeah, Ricky's
You know, that'd
up.
probably
He's
be my
dropping
luck,
off.
Frank. I'll probably drive all the way down to Gulfport, go see my buddy, and he'd be on vacation in Alaska or somewhere. I would have no chance of seeing him.
Hey, who's the one that knocked on the door and said, "Oh, I'm going to switch the honey jar," and he happened to get caught? Yeah, I forget that.
Yeah. Oh, Mike?
Oh, Mike Berry.
Mike Berry, yeah.
That was funny, man. He's like, I'm going to switch. He's like, oh, God, here he comes, he said. And we'll get it. It tore him up when old Bruce busted him. I laughed. I said, oh, Lord. You know him pretty well, don't you, Randy? You spend time with old Mike, don't you?
Yeah, I like Mike.
Yeah, he's a Jew.
Yeah, I like Mike too.
He's a good dude.
He cracks me up. I love him.
Have you talked to Mr. Ed lately?
Yeah, I talked to him today. He was I was waking up from a nap and he was going to take one.
Had a lot in common. How's the swarm competition going this year, Randy?
Thanks, Circle P.
He's beat me by 3, I think. But
Okay.
I don't let him know that. I always keep him on his toes because
keep him guessing.
Hey, how many you got? I got 15.
Yeah, I'll ask him,
I got
I'll ask him how
16.
many he got. And anytime he can tell me 16, I got 15. Just got another one. That, I'm lying to him, but he don't know it. I'll tell him the truth later on.
Let him sweat it for a minute.
All right, he's trapping them, swarm trapping them too.
Yeah.
Ain't no doubt. Hey, guys, I love every one of you, but I'm going to have to jump off here.
Yeah, it's getting about that time.
Yeah.
It's just been awesome getting to
It's
talk.
great
to
time.
Great job,
I
guys.
didn't don't end it on account of me. I mean, but
no, we need to get on out.
Yeah,
I got to go.
But my
gotta
wife's
go,
the
too.
boss. I have to do what I'm told. I don't know about y'all.
Well, happy wife, happy life, Earl.
There you go, brother.
Mine as well. So
Yeah.
I'm doing the same.
I want to thank Bob.
Well, I don't feel
tonight,
bad
guys,
saying it
being a
now. The
special
boss
guest.
said this thing
Thank
needs
you,
to be
Bob.
wrapped up.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob, for coming on. And everybody remember, Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern, Bob and Lee,
Yes.
Walker
Yes,
B.
sir.
Ranch, Kodiak Farms, a Wednesday night
Thank
stream
all
team.
you guys so much.
And then,
Thanks,
of course,
everyone.
we're
Appreciate
Thursday
the
nights. So
opportunity.
next week will be on my channel, Tennessee Mountain Bees. I hope to see everybody that can make it out.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all again.
All right.
God bless you
Hey
all,
guys,
and God bless your bees.
before we go,
Okay.
and anybody who's listening, I said I was going to do a survey and ask people what it means to be a beekeeper or how to be a beekeeper. If you got something short and quick you want to add, and just send me an email, 628dirtrooster@gmail.com. I'm doing a talk in Alabama, and I jokingly said I would talk on how to be a beekeeper. It was supposed to be a joke, but they've got me listed on talking about how to be a beekeeper. So now
You're going to have to follow
Good
through.
ideas.
What's the
Awesome.
question?
Ideas,
How
huh?
to be a
Good-
beekeeper
good
or
topic.
wire bee- Say it again. What's the
just-
question?
The talk is how to be a beekeeper. So whatever you want to put on how to be a beekeeper, and I'll just put that in the survey.
628 at Gmail.
628dirtrooster@gmail.
You should just run a poll on your YouTube channel on the
There you
studio.
Yeah.
And let
The
your,
community tab.
Yeah, that'll work.
of course, you'll get 77,000 responses. So
I doubt it.
You get it once.
It was
I
good
got
seeing
an
all
active
y'all guys.
survey.
Y'all have a good evening.
Y'all
Yes, sir,
too,
you
man.
too.
Hey, thanks so
Randy.
much for coming in, everybody. Thank y'all.
thank you.
Yeah,
God
Frank,
bless y'all. God
Charlie,
bless your bees.
Larry, Jason, all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play the show intro, Houston, if that's okay, buddy, because that's got
Yeah,
the
that's
dates of the
fine.
next
That's
show. That
fine.
sound good, and that'll take us on
Yeah,
home.
that's good.
Hey,
All
appreciate
right.
y'all.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bob.
Yep. Thanks a lot.